Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, you're audible.
So we will begin with verse number 39, second canto, chapter 7, verse 39, where Brahmadev is talking about various aspects. So this one is Sarge tapoham rashayo navaye prajeshaha sthane sta dharma makhaha manava amara vinashaha ante tva dharma hara manyu vasharidaya Maya vibhutaya imaha purushakti bhajaha.
May I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, bro.
At the beginning of creation, there are penance, myself, Brahma, and the Prajapatis, the great sages who generate. Then, during the maintenance of the creation, there are Lord Vishnu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and then Lord Shiva and the atheists, full of anger, etc. All of them are different representative manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. The material world is created by the energy of the Lord, and which is manifested in the beginning of the creation by the penance of Brahmaji, the first living being of in the creation. And then there are the nine Prajapatis known as the great sages. In the stage where the creation is maintained, there are devotional service to Lord Vishnu or factual religion, the different demigods and the kings of different planets who maintain the world. At last, when the creation is preparing to wind up, there is first the principle of irreligion, then Lord Shiva, along with the atheists, full of anger. But all of them are but different manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahadev, that is Shiva, are different incarnations of the different modes of material nature. Vishnu is the Lord of the mode of goodness, Brahma is the Lord of the mode of passion, and Shiva is the Lord of mode of ignorance. Ultimately, the material creation is but a temporary manifestation meant to give the chance of liberation to the conditioned souls who are entrapped in the material world, and one who develops the mode of goodness under the protection of Lord Vishnu has the greatest chance of being liberated by following the Vaishnava principles and thus being promoted by the kingdom of God, no more to return to this miserable material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Brahma is talking about here those personalities which are being created by him. So the material world is created by the energy of the Lord, which is manifested in the beginning of the creation, that we have seen it in the Golok chart, how the creation takes place. And then by the penance of Brahmaji, the first living ring. So when he talks about the penance of Brahma, this is not the original creation. Original material is given by the Lord, raw material, the 23 tattvas. But what aspects are created after that, that you need to see that. So that is called secondary creation. Sarga, Visarga. Sarga is done by Vishnu, Mahavishnu, and Visarga is done by Brahma. So that is the reason it says in the beginning of the creation, penance of Brahma. So even Brahma could not create directly. He did 100 years of tapasya, which was 100 divine years. And then after that, he got the knowledge. Then you have the 9 Prajapatis known as the great sage. So after that, you see that the creation maintained devotional service to Vishnu or the factual religion, different demigods, different kings of planets. They are called Lokpalas. And then the creation is preparing to wind up and the principle of religion. So Satyug, Treta, Dwapur, Kali, Char Yug. Now by the time you come to Kali, the age of iron, the winding up starts because of the principle of religion. And then Lord Shiva, who is the master of destruction, along with the atheist full of anger. So atheists are basically, we understand that, who are Maya, Aparita, Jnanam or Asuram Bhavam Ashrita. These are the atheist kind of people. And full of anger, when we say which animal comes in your, or which yoni comes in our thought process, when we use the word anger. there is a particular jiva, a type of a living entity, which is full of envy and anger.
Snake.
Absolutely. Snake. So लोगों का जो प्रवृत्ति है वो कलयुग में सर्प की तरह हो जाता है कि they are completely self-centered and anger. If anybody comes within the range, even if you are not having any desire to hurt that particular jiva, the jiva will hurt you. So therefore, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are the different incarnations. They are modes of material, masters of the modes of material nature. Vishnu in goodness, Brahma in passion, and Shiva in the mode of ignorance. Ultimately, the material creation is but a temporary manifestation. So it goes like Bhutva Bhutva Pralayate. You create and then the pralay comes. You create and the so it is called samsara. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janati, jathare shayana. And dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So those who are entrapped in the material world, so there is a chance. It says one who develops the mode of goodness under the protection of Lord Vishnu. See, that protection part is very important. You see, the protection part is very important. I will read something from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This verse describes vibhutis or the guna avatar within the material world according to the division. For maintenance, sthane, there is dharma, sacrifice by manus, the devatas, the king, and ante destruction, manu vasha means snakes and other who are controlled by anger. So, सर्प वाली प्रवृत्ति वाले लोग और सर्प वो जो है, they are in the mode of anger. But what is the advantage? Kaler doshe nide rajan asti nek mahan gun. Kirtanadaiva Krishna se mukta sangha param braje. So one who develops the mode of goodness under the protection of Vishnu has the greatest chance of being liberated by following the Vaishnava principles and thus being promoted to the kingdom of God. No more to return to this miserable material world. So how many of us feel that we should do that? Or how many of us feel that we have an opportunity now? What's your take on this?
Difficult to practice in the material world.
Yeah, that is right. But if suppose that is the best way to get out of it, then the difficulty is worth taking, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And actually, when we say difficulty, basically it is the state of our mind and understanding, Prabhu. Mostly the way how you perceive things, perceptions, that is what plays an important role in our lives. If you ask me, there is a particular chapter which is going on in the 11th canto now, the song of Avanti Brahmana, where he says that whom will you get angry on and why would you blame others? Eventually, it is all but the way you are confused. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvanda mohena bharata. So that's how it works. Let's go to the next verse. Vishnurnuvirya gananam kamato gananam katamo aratiha यह पार्थिवाने अपि कवेर विमाने रजास्मि चस्काम्बयस्व रहसा खलात त्रिपृष्ठम यस्मात्रिसाम्य सदनादुरु कंपयानम.
I will read
Great,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Oh, go ahead, Rahul.
Thanks. Hare Krishna. Translation. Who can describe completely the prowess of Vishnu? Even the scientist who might have counted the particles of the atoms of the universe cannot do so, because it is he only who, in his form of Trivikrama, moved his leg effortlessly beyond the topmost planet, Satyaloka, up to the neutral state of the three modes of material nature, and all were moved. Purport. The highest scientific advancement of the material scientists is atomic energy. But the material scientist is not able to have an estimation of the particles of atoms contained in the whole universe. But even if one is able to count such atomic particles or is able to roll up the sky like one being, even then one is unable to estimate the extent of the prowess and energy of the Supreme Lord. He is known as Trivikrama because once in his incarnation of Vamana, he expanded his leg beyond the highest planetary system, Satyaloka, and reached the neutral state of the modes of nature called the covering of the material world. There are 7 layers of material coverings over the material sky, and the Lord could penetrate even those coverings with his toe. He made a hole through which the water of the causal ocean filters into the material sky, and the current is known as the sacred Ganges, which purifies the planets of the 3 worlds. In other words, no one is equal to the transcendently powerful Vishnu. He is omnipotent, and no one is equal to or greater than him. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So you see, here we are talking about the magnanimity of Lord Narayana or Vishnu or Mahavishnu. It is impossible to actually understand. Even those scientists who are having great achievements in atomic energy or molecular energy or kind to like having the 4th dimension knowledge. But when it comes to Vishnu, it just becomes Adhokshaja. It is not possible for our tiny brain to understand who is Vishnu. Like he came as a Vamana, dwarf, and then he became a Trivikrama. So it was like unimaginable that how the Lord incarnated as Vamana and did everything. And what he did, 1 foot on the 1 foot is on the earth, another foot he took right on top, and he pierced the Brahman. Now remember that the covering of the Brahman, earth, water, air, fire, ether, and ego, mind. 7 coverings are there, and each covering is double the size. Like suppose if the first covering is 10 kilometers, next is 20, next is 40, next is 80, next is 160, next is 320, next is 640. And without any effort, he just put his leg up, just like an eggshell, crack. A few drops of causal ocean came down, and that became as Ganga. So Brahma took it in his Kamandalu. Brahma had a Kamandal in his hand, so he took it in the Kamandal. And then at the right time, he started to tell Ganga to flow through the 3 planetary systems. So when she falls from Swarga to earth, she's called Janvi. Or Alaknanda. When she reaches the earth, she becomes Ganga. And through Ganga Sagar, where the Ganga merges into the Sagar, from there she comes to the lower planetary system, and she's called Bhogavati. So please understand, she has 3 names: Janvi, Ganga, and Bhogavati. Janvi in the Swargalok, Ganga in the Earthlok, Bhogavati in the Patal Lok. So she purifies the 3 planetary systems. And when we talk about the navigation system, the first ever navigation was actually done by the 4 Kumaras. The 4 Kumaras, when they wanted to understand the science of Krishna consciousness, so what did they do? They had to go and see Ananta Deva or Ananta Shesha, who is in the Patal Lok holding the whole Brahmand on his head. So they took this water system and navigated through Janvi, Ganga, and Bhogavati, eventually went to Lord Narayana in the form of Ananta Shesha and did the listening of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is how we should understand. And in other words, it is impossible for our people to even understand how Krishna is. Like for example, when you use the word Adhokshaja, Adhokshaja means A and Sha. So if you learn our vowels and consonants, it says A, I, I, U, A, I, O, Amaha, then Ka, Ka, Ga, Ga, Na. So last word is Aksha. So A and Sha, this is what our limitation is. So within this, whatever we learn is what we understand. But Krishna is Adhokshaja. means one who is beyond A and Sh. Unless he decides to talk about himself, nobody can understand him. That's the reason they say there is no one equal to the Lord. And Krishna also says, Matta Parattaram na anyat. There is no one superior to me. So this is what we can purport over here. And it also says, there is a Vedic mantra which is written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says that, can even he who measures the dust of the earth describe the power of the much praised Vishnu, who took 3 steps and paralyzed the upper world along with the Devatas? So all the Devatas were also paralyzed. Okay, we'll go to any doubts in this or anything that you want to share?
Prabhu, Trivikarma ka what exactly is the meaning?
Vikram means what? One who does great activities. Trivikrama means one who took 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and did the great activity of measuring the whole world in steps. That is the reason it is called Trivikrama. Can go to text 41 if there is no more doubts in this. Nantam vidamyaham amimunayo agrasjasate muya balasya purushasya kuto varaye gayan gunan dasha shatatana adi devaha shesho dunapi samavasyati nasya param.
Translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Neither I nor all the sages born before you know fully the omnipotent personality of Godhead. So what can others who are born after us know about him? Even the first incarnation of the Lord, namely Sesha, has not been able to reach the limits of such knowledge, although he is describing the qualities of the Lord with 1,000 faces. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The omnipotent personality of Godhead has 3 primary potencies, namely the internal, external, and marginal potencies. With unlimited expansions of these 3 energies, as such, the expansions of his potencies can never be calculated by anyone, because even the personality of Godhead himself, as the incarnation of Sesha, cannot estimate the potencies, although he has been describing them continuously with his 1,000 faces. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
So he says, I and the sages such as Kumaras, who are your elder brother, do not know the limit strength of the Lord's material energy. What to speak of others? So it means this conversation is between Brahma and Narada. So Brahma is telling your elder brothers are 4 Kumaras who came before you. So I, you and they, we do not know. What to speak of others? Even Sheshanag, who has been singing the glories of the Lord till the present with his 1,000 heads, has not been able to find the end to them. So there is no beginning, no end. That is the reason they say Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidanand Vigraha Anadir Adir. One who has no beginning and one who is the beginning of everything. So if one who has no beginning, then how will somebody estimate that how you can describe the personification of Lord Krishna? So that's what he says that. And there is a pun over here. You know what Brahma is telling? Brahma says that I do not know the extent of his material energy. What to speak of the spiritual energy then? Spiritual energy में तो हम पता ही नहीं कर सकते कि क्या है. Why? Because he is completely maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyakta murti nam mat sthani sarvabhutani na chaham tesha avasthita. Everything is within me, but I am not in them. So because he is in the spiritual world. So we'll go to the next verse now. Yesham sa esha bhagavan dhyayed anantaha sarvatmana rishta pada yadi nirvyalikam te dushtaram atitaranti chadeva mayam naisham mamadham adi iti Dhi Swag Sragala Bhakshaye. Yeah, can go for the translation.
I'll go, Prabhuji. Translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. But anyone who is specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, due to unalloyed surrender onto the service of the Lord, can overcome the insurmountable oceans of illusion and can understand the Lord. But those who are attached to this body, which is meant to be eaten at the end of dogs and jackals, cannot do so. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The unalloyed devotees of the Lord know the glories of the Lord in the sense that they can understand how great the Lord is and how great is his expansions of diverse energy. Those who are attached to the perishable body can hardly enter into the realm of the signs of Godhead. The whole materialistic world, based on the conception of the material body as the self, is ignorant of the signs of God. The materialist is always busy working for the welfare of the material body, not only his own but also those of his children, kinsmen, communitymen, countrymen, etc. The materialists have many branches of philanthropic and altruistic activities from a political, national, and international angle of vision. But none of the field work can go beyond the jurisdiction of the misconception of identifying the material body with the spirit soul. Unless, therefore, one is saved from the wrong conception of the body and the soul, there is no knowledge of Godhead. And unless there is knowledge of God, all advancements in material civilization, however dazzling, should be considered a failure. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
So if you go to see here, we can understand the Lord only when we are surrendered to him. And that is one part of it. Even if you are surrendered, the prerogative is with the Lord, whether he wants to show himself or not. So we can understand him only when we know him, that without surrendering, this will not work. For those of us who think that body is everything, and what is related to the body is wife, children, which after the death is being fit for consumed by dogs and vultures, or it is burned to ashes. For such people's realization is not there. So what it talks about here, it talks that, let me read a verse for you. The Mundaka Upanishad says, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yameva vrashnute tena labhas tasyesa atma vivrivnute tanum swam. So the meaning is, the Lord is not attained by speaking or intelligence or much hearing. The Lord is attained by the person alone whom the Lord chooses. He reveals his form so that to that person. So I may be very intelligent, very great in talking, very analytical, a thorough Brahmana with proper knowledge of etiquettes and all, but still I may not qualify to see the Lord. But on the other hand, if I am very meek and I am able to surrender to the Lord, telling him that, my dear Lord, whatever the case may be, please accept me and give me the opportunity to serve your devotees, by which you are happy. So then what the Lord says, the Lord is attained by the person alone whom the Lord chooses. Then you become a person of his choice. So we should see that even in the material world, if you become the person, you become the choice of your boss, your life is easy, right? How many of you agree to this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because life is
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
boss ne okay kar diya to bas aur kya chahiye. So like that, Krishna is the big boss. If he okays something, Mare Krishna Rakhe ke, Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. So the Mandukya Upanishad says that when the Lord favors somebody. So what is the symptom of the mercy?
प्रभु,
There should be a person without material. Yes, Prabhu.
sorry to interrupt you, प्रभु. आपका वीडियो ऑन करेंगे, प्रभु?
Oh, sorry. I just forgot that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what is the symptom of the mercy? There should be a person without material desire. So the first symptom that the mercy is coming on you means there should be a person. So you not having material desire, I not having material desire is the first mercy of the Lord. Before he accepts us, he clears us. Vidunoti surut satam. Then second is what? Nirvalyakam, one who takes the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and is indifferent to karma and jnana. Matlab, one who is not karma yogi or a jnana yogi, but for him everything is Krishna. Third is what? The principal function of the Shakti of the mercy is pure bhakti. The pure bhakti is manifested by people, by his devotees. Thus the mercy is obtained by the association of devotees. So without sadhu sangha, Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sang Tata Brajana Kriya. Without the Sangha of the Krishna's devotee who are pure, there is no scope for us to grow in Krishna consciousness and get the mercy of the Lord. So the Lord arranges great acharyas to come on time again, and sometimes he himself comes down as Lord Chaitanya, once in the layer of Brahma. And then what he does, if they attend the association, then they cross the Maya and attain knowledge of the Lord. Gaining knowledge of the Lord is indicated by the word cha. By what symptoms should the Maya's infliction and freedom be from? One thinks of me and mine. One who thinks of the body and the bodies of the children, and others which are worthy of food for dogs and jackals. So there is another beautiful verse which I'll read. It is from Canto 10, chapter 84, verse number 13. It says, Yasatma buddhi kunupe tridhatuke swadhiya kalatra drishto bahuma ijayadihi tattirtha buddhehi salilena karhiji janeshva abhigneshu cha eva ghokaraha. So there it is, the body is meant for eating dogs and jackals, by dogs and jackals. Here what it says, one who identifies his self as the inert body composed of mucus, bile, air, assumes his wife and family are permanently his own, who thinks an earthen image or the land of birth is worshipable, or who sees the place of pilgrimage as merely the water is there, but who never identifies himself with, feels the kingship is with worship or even the visits to those who are wise in the spiritual truth. Such person is no better than a cow or an ass. So this is the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, that kingsman, community man, countryman, this particular Prabhupada, what he has given in the Parmat is actually related to this particular verse, where the body is fit to be consumed by dogs and jackals. At the same time, one is not better than a cow or an ass, because both these are manda buddhis as far as the basic things are concerned. So in this, we do get into political debates, we do get into political understanding, we do get into political sidings. But what does it indicate? Is it really required? Can we have a small discussion on this? How do you feel so? How many of us feel that, kingsmen, countrymen, community men, children are many branches of philanthropic and altruistic activities? So how we as Krishna conscious people would look at this and go ahead?
Prabhuji, one angle to it is that is one of the kartavya, right? When somebody comes here onto the earth,
Yeah.
like in the Gita, whatever duties we have to perform, right?
Yeah.
And to do the duties, then we have to take care of the body also, right?
Yes, that's right. Absolutely, you're on the point.
So in that context, if you see, then it is a little bit debatable to see not to give up and do things.
Yes, these points are valid, Mr. Rao. That is great because yes, it is your duty. But then when we perform the duty, the Lord also tells that don't be attached to it. You just do it as a kartavya. So that point kartavya that you said is bullseye.
Yeah.
That is perfectly okay. Yeah.
But without doing it, that is the part which is little bit challenging, right? When you do something to do it without
Like
expectations is I can understand, but
yeah.
You somehow get dragged into it.
No,
So,
attachment, there is nothing wrong in attachment, Prabhu.
yeah. So,
You
Prabhu,
have to be attached to your wife and kids, otherwise there is no point. But that attachment should not be the cause of the next body. So you should be affectionate. There is a difference between attachment and being affectionate. One has to be affectionate to everybody. And for your children and wife who have done so much for you, you should be affectionate. You cannot say, I am doing my kartavya, you don't get attached to me. That will look very silly. Like suppose someone passes away, for example. You have to feel bad for it because they were your swajanas. But then there are people who get completely drowned and they never come out of it. How would you take that?
exactly, Prabhu. So, whatever we do, we are, at one class we are discussing that one. We need to do it for the Krishna. So, for example, if I want to eat something, I feel to eat. Yes, you prepare it, you give as a prasad to Krishna and have it. You want to dress well. Yes, dress well, but go to Krishna temple and do prayers. So, what we are saying is, we will do everything, but on the name of Krishna. We'll give that back to the Krishna. So it comes to the, if the circle comes back to the service of the Krishna, then I think that's okay.
So till the time we are doing, that is perfectly okay. But when it comes to our wife and children, what are the challenges that we can face basically? They may not feel that way. They may feel that, my father is being exceptionally considerate as far as Krishna conscious is concerned. He should live a life this way. So did we ever face a challenge when you felt that talking to your wife and children about Krishna conscious and
Yeah,
they were not in?
definitely. We keep facing that one.
Yeah. So what is the way to it? Like, how would we make a, what do you say, difference in their lives? How would we do that? We can all join in, Mr. Rao. के साथ
Prabhu, we can, our children or family will automatically will start looking to Krishna by seeing our activities and all that throughout the
Yes,
day and all that.
yes, yes. I'll tell you, His Holiness Bibi Govind Swami Maharaj, who also happens to be the spiritual master of Subal Prabhu. I had once an opportunity way back in year 2001 when Maharaj had started to come to Dubai and we were all new to see him. And I was about to travel to Mumbai to get married and I told Maharaj, I am getting into the Grahastha ashram. I seek your guidance. So very joyfully, but at the same time in a very joking way, he said, why are you asking a sannyasi about Grahastha ashram? What do I know? Then I told Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, it's not that way. It's not necessary for you to be a Grahastha ashram to know everything because you're a spiritual master. So I'm sure your knowledge and your understanding about this entire thing will be different. So he smiled. He said, I appreciate that you come and ask me, so I have to guide you now. So he told me a few things. He said, A, practice your Krishna consciousness in a very joyful manner. It should not look like a burden to others. Second, he said, never force your wife or children into anything, but be a good example. Third, he said, give them enough space and understanding as to how they should conduct in Krishna consciousness. In the end, he said, since the nature of the material world is to follow the Purusha, wife being the Prakriti, she will follow the Purusha. And believe me, Prabhu, we implemented those things in life and the rest is history. So we have to understand one thing, as you all rightly said, that in whichever way you can enthuse the children and family into Krishna consciousness, there is nothing like it. Because end of the day, eventually it will happen. So this is nice. Anybody wants to add something? Subal, anything from your side, dear?
Prabhu, I'm sorry. Would you mind repeating the question?
No, our discussion was that being attached to family is the must, or being affectionate. And suppose those who are facing this challenge of he being in Krishna conscious, but wife and children are a little bit skeptical, or they are not in the current mood. So what would help them to bring them to Krishna conscious? How should be our approach?
Prabhu, for us, basically, you are one of those examples in actually practicing and teaching us that way. But I remember His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj had once made a statement to a person who had just, got one child. So Bhakti Vikas Maharaj said that, be affectionate to the child, but don't be attached to the child. That actually, summed up the whole behavior of us towards our family. So being affectionate means we need to be affectionate towards their spiritual growth. Of course,
Yes.
material growth is important,
Important, yeah.
but that is not the only important thing. So from that perspective, being attached to them will actually force us to focus more on their material material growth, not on their spiritual growth. And we have been learning from you about this particular example and how to behave.
Prabhu, in this, I'll just tell you one thing. For me, we all have, achievement stages in our life. Like, it is called a step-up system. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. But if you ask me what was the dearmost or the dearest situation to me was the 2004, 24th June 2004, when I got initiated. I felt that I did something good in my life. But more than that, I was happy on 29th of April 2011 when my wife got initiated. And the best of it came when my son got initiated on 27th of May 2023, because that was the least expected in my life, that my son would get initiated. And the next day I went to Maharaj and I put my obeisances, and I was in tears. I said, Guru Maharaj, thank you for accepting my son as your disciple, because today I have done my duty of surrendering my son to a Guru. Now I no more am the in charge of his life, but I will be only a guardian, and on your behalf I shall be working with him, because from here on you are his spiritual father, so that father-son relationship lies with you, whereas in my case I will be just his mentor. And Maharaj was also very happy. And then we went on to have an interview about how we brought up this child. I'm not sure, Subal, if you have seen that video, but I would like to share it with you, as Maharaj is interviewing me on how we brought up this child actually.
Fantastic.
You know very well how it was actually.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, definitely. And that's a kind of, not many would understand in this class, but we have seen this progression to where Keshav is now, and we can understand it.
And Prabhu, this all happens, why I will tell you again, that last verse, Sadhu Sam. It is not in the capacity of a parent to overturn things like this. But when the Vaishnavas, they come, they chant, they clap, they do the service to the devotional service to the Lord, and let people associate. That is where the difference starts coming in actually. Because we have seen many children in the outside world also, but they did not have this kind of a success. So it clearly shows that it is, but if not Vaishnavas and Guru, it is Hari Guru Vaishnav.
Jai.
If Hari Guru Vaishnav agar hai, so anything is possible.
Yeah.
But we need to have faith and we need to surrender. And that is the reason it says that being affectionate is more important than being attached. Thank you, Subal, for your inputs.
Prabhu,
We'll go to the next words.
with your
Yeah.
kind permission, just take point I would like to share. So as you very so nicely mentioned about Keshav also getting initiated, And that happiness is actually far, far more than when we got initiated.
Absolutely, Prabhu. Absolutely.
Meaning a few days back, Mayuri expressed her desire to get initiated.
Hari bol. Oh, fantastic.
For us, like, we still remember that small girl whom we raised on our hands has
Yes.
reached to the stage to take an initiation from a guru.
Superb. Superb.
Definitely, it is what you said is 100% true. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
Prabhu.
for sharing, Prabhu.
Because, Prabhu, I'll tell you one thing. The very goal of our life is to surrender our child to the Guru.
Correct.
And if we could do that, Prabhu, I will tell you, आपने अपने माता पिता होने का कर्तव्य निभा दिया.
Correct.
So this is something I always tell the other parent, and many children got inspired by each other, like Kripa Mai Mataji Ketna, she took initiation, Shiva and Shruti, Shivani and Shruti, they took initiation. So, there is a group of children who are being inspirational to the next generation, and we all should think in that line. Nevertheless, that does not mean others who are not successful, they have not done their job. If not now, there is always a time this will happen. But we being affectionate, and another thing on the political side also I want to say, we discuss politics, we understand politics in many ways, but we have to understand one thing. If you can make a difference, then you get into it. If not, then do not waste your time simply brooding over what went right and what went wrong. Because if it is not within your control, then the political scenario will only eat up your mind and it will deviate you from the Krishna conscious. But yes, if you are in a position to make a change, then you should definitely utilize your power, because then Prabhupada also says that that is the best possible way to propagate Krishna conscious. So there I would leave this particular verse.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So we'll go to the next verse. Yeah. Vedamhanga parasmai yogamayam yuyam bhavascha bhagavanat daityavarya patni manosa manuscha tadatmajascha prashna bihir rubhurir anga uta dhruvascha ikshvakur ala ikshvakur aila muchukanda vediha gahi vedagadhi Raghav Amrisha Sagar Gaya Nanushadya Mandhatar Alarka Shatatanva Ranti Deva Ruto Balir Amruttarayo Dilipaha Saubharya Utanku Sibidevala Pipalada Sarasvatodva Parashara Purishneha Ye Anya Vibhishana Hanumat Upendrata Partha Dirsena Vidura Shrutadeva Varya. So these are the names of the wonderful devotees who have got the mercy of the Lord. Let's go and see.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read the translation? Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ji. Jai Srila Prabhupada. O Narada, although the potencies of the Lord are unknowable and immeasurable, still, because we are all surrendered souls, we know how he acts through Yogamaya potencies. And similarly, the potencies of the Lord are also known to the all-powerful Shiva, the great king of the atheist family, namely Prahlad Maharaj, Swayambhuva Manu, his wife Shatrupa, his sons and daughters like Priyavrata, Uttanpada, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti, Prachinabharhi, Ribhu, Anga, the father of Vena, Maharaj Dhruva, Ikshvaku, Aila, Muchukund Maharaj Janak, Gadhi, Raghu, Amrish, Sagar, Gaya, Nahush, Mandhara, Alarka, Shatadhanve, Anu, Ranti Deva, Bhishma, Bali, Amurtaraya, Dilip, Saubhari, Utanka, Shibi, Devala, Pippalada, Saraswata, Udhava, Parashara, Bhurishena, Vibhishana, Hanuman, Shukadev Goswami, Arjuna, Aristishena, Aristishena, Vidura, Shrutadeva, etc. Purport. All the great devotees of the Lord, as mentioned above, who flourished in the past or present, and all the devotees of the Lord who will come in the future are aware of the different potencies of the Lord along with the potency of his name, quality, pastimes, entourage, personality, etc. And how do they know? Certainly it is not by mental speculation, nor by any attempt by dint of limited instruments of knowledge. By the limited instruments of knowledge, either the sense or the material instruments like microscopes and telescopes, one cannot even fully know the Lord's material potencies, which are manifested before our eyes. For example, there are many millions and billions of planets far, far beyond the scientist's calculation. But these are only the manifestations of the Lord's material energy. What can the scientist hope to know of the spiritual potency of the Lord by such material efforts? Mental speculations, by adding some dozens of ifs and maybes, cannot aid the advancement of knowledge. On the contrary, such mental speculations will only end in despair by dismissing the case abruptly and declaring the non-existence of God. The sane person, therefore, ceases to speculate on subjects beyond the jurisdiction of his tiny brain, and as a matter of course, he tries to learn to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, who alone can lead one to the platform of real knowledge. In the Upanishads, it is clearly said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can never be known simply by working very hard and taxing the good brain, nor can he be known simply by mental speculation of jugglery or words. The Lord is knowable only by one who is a surrendered soul. Herein, Brahmaji, the greatest of all material living beings, acknowledged this truth. Therefore, the fruitless spoiling of energy by pursuing the path of experimental knowledge must be given. One should gain knowledge by surrendering unto the Lord and by acknowledging the authority of the persons mentioned herein. The Lord is unlimited, and by the grace of the Yog Maya, helps the surrendered soul to know him proportionately with the advance of one's surrender. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Superb. This was one of the fantastic. Now see, let's just concentrate on the last line. The Lord is unlimited, and by the grace of Yog Maya, helps the surrendered soul to know him proportionately with the advance of one surrender. Now, please see this sentence. Lord is unlimited, point number 1. Grace of the Yog Maya, point number 2, helps the surrendered soul to know him. So it is the Yog Maya helps the surrendered soul, but proportionately with the advance of the one surrender. It means ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyam. जो जितना मेरे शरण में आएगा उतना मैं उसको दिखाऊंगा. But there is a question over here. Yoga Maya, by the grace of Yoga Maya. But Krishna says, Naam Prakashasya Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavritaha. Mudo yam na bijanati loko mamajam avayam. मैं तो योग माया से अपने आप को कवर करता हूं. And here it is telling that the grace of Yoga Maya. So how do you reconcile this statement? When you use the word Yog Maya, what comes to your mind, Prabhus and Matajis?
That is the spiritual potency of the good Lord.
Yes. So, if I say another verse, Mahatmanas tu mam partha, Daivim prakriti ashrita. So, would you equate Daivi prakriti to Yog Maya?
Yes.
No, Prabhu, I think Devi Prakriti will become external energy.
No, Daivi
No,
prakriti is internal, Prabhu. It is Daivi.
Acha.
It is Daivi prakriti. But what Krishna says, Mahatmanas tu mam partha, Daivi prakriti. A surrendered Mahatma, a great soul who says, why, who is a Mahatma? What is the title of Mahatma? Mahatma का definition क्या है? Bahunam janmanam ante Gyanvan ma prapadate Vasudeva Sarva iti. Once you come to the proportion that Vasudeva Sarva iti, sa Mahatma. That is Mahatma. but it is very difficult to find. Durlabha, very extent. So then Krishna says, Mahatmanas tu mam partha daiving prakriti mashrita. So my dear Arjun, those who are Mahatmanas, who are Mahatma? Vasudeva Sarvaiti. The one who comes to the conclusion, Vasudeva Sarvaiti is a Mahatma. So then he is protected by Daivi Prakriti. So Daivi Prakriti is none other than Srimati Radharani. And Yogamaya is none other than Radharani's internal spiritual potency who covers Krishna till the time we are not ready to, till the time we are not fully equipped to understand him on the level of surrender. Now, again, let's take one step behind. When will Yogamaya help the surrendered soul? This takes you where, let's look into the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. Anybody can help me with the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita on the forum?
Prabhu, you are referring to the first verse, right? It talks about the conditioned soul is helped that point, right?
Yeah. So what I'm looking at over here, I'm not getting into the mental speculation part of it because mental speculation has no scope because Krishna straight away says, Nam Prakashasya Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita Mudoyam Nabi Janadi Lokomama Jamavya. But let's see the part where we can help ourselves to take the Yogamaya's blessings and move forward in Krishna consciousness. So it says that, what is the first verse of the Chaturshloki? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva. Means I am the source of everything and everything emanates when free. Iti matva. One who is of this opinion, his buddhi is situated in the right situation. Buddha bhava samanvita. Why? What makes him Buddha bhava? Why he is thinking like that? Because mat chitta, mat gata prana. His chitta and his destination is me. His prana is me. The very goal of his life is me. So what he does, because he's doing always mat chitta mat gata, bodhayanta parasparam. Sambodh karna, baat karna. So he is talking and he is listening Krishna. Why is doing that? What is the reason? Kathayantascha mam nityam. What is he doing? Eternally he is talking about me, my kathas. He gets that tushyanti and ramanti. Tushyanti means he gets the satisfaction and ramanti means he gets pleasure. So satisfaction and pleasure is what Jiva is always behind. And here Krishna is telling that one who is doing mat chitta mat gata, one who knows that I am the source of everything, he is intellectually situated in the right platform. Then from there he says, Kathayantascha mam nityam. What he does? Paraspara. Nitya means always, whenever time permits or as and when. Also, and Nitya means forever. So uska outcome क्या होता है? तेषाम सतत युक्तानाम भजताम प्रीतिपूर्वकम. So that becomes his habit. That becomes his habit. Tesham satata yukta. Satata yukta means one who is constantly in connection with me. Tesham satata yuktanam. And bhajatam priti purvakam. With love and affection he is doing bhajan. Not that he wants to get something. He is just doing for the sake of Krishna. So uska outcome kya hota hai? All these activities, Am sarvasya prabhavo, Buddha bhava samanvitaha, kathayantascha mam nityam, tushyanti cha ramanti cha, tesham satata yuktanam, bhajatam priti purvakam. Outcome is dadami buddhi. I give thee knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. And what is the buddhi? How to come to me. So that is where the grace of the Yogamaya starts. That is where the Yogamaya, because you have surrendered yourself in the proportion and the grace of Yogamaya starts. It says, Yenama. Then there is a special thing what Krishna does. Tesham ivanukampa. What is Krishna's special anukampa or compassion? Aham ajnana jamtamaha. Nashyame atma bhavastu. That darkness which is there within your heart, due to which you are in the mode of ignorance, I dissipate it with the jnana deepena bhashvata. And what is the jnana? What is the jnana? Krishna. We are Nitya Das of Krishna. What is that statement? Jivera Swarupa Hoy? Nitya Krishna Das. So if you take this proportionately, one step at a time, Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sang, Tata Bhajana Kriya. So this entire Bhajana Kriya, what is the Bhajana Kriya? Now we are talking about this when Krishna is telling that proportionately one has to advance of one surrender. Means what is the level of your Bhajan Kriya? Many people, what do you understand by the word Bhajan Kriya?
Only Kirtan they understand sometimes. But
Yeah,
Shravanam is also bhajan kriya, like whatever we are
Yeah.
listening about the Lord.
yeah, that is right.
Even
Now,
chanting is also, Prabhu.
yes, chanting is Bhajan Kriya, absolutely right. Good points. Any other points? Please
Even
continue.
reading pastimes, explaining
Reading
pastimes.
pastimes, explaining pastime, that is Bhajana Kriya. Fantastic. Very
Any
nice.
activity that is related to the Lord, can we say bhajan kriya?
Yeah, yeah.
So even
Anything.
service to
So,
devotees also.
but yes, but where does this end? The next question is, now that we know that A, B, C, D, E is the process, do you think this process ends or this is endless?
It's endless, Prabhu.
Suppose I tell you that Bhajan Kriya for me is Bhajan Sandhya. शाम को 6 से 7 बैठा, सैटरडे के दिन किसी के प्रोग्राम में गए, अरे बहुत मजा आया. That's it. They say that is Bhajana Kriya. Yes. To begin with, that is the Bhajana Kriya. But to end with, as you said, it is endless. Why? Because Bhajana Kriya means Sat Shraddha, Sadhu Sang. Then Bhajan Kriya helps us to do Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, taste. Then attachment to the Lord. Then Prema.
Bhav.
Bhava and Prema. But we have to understand one thing in this. This process takes you to the point of chanting 16 rounds, reading Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, offering bhoga and eating prashadam, going for the Dham Yatra, accepting the shelter of the Guru, after the shelter, getting initiated by the Guru, and then continually practicing your Krishna conscious, which takes you back home, back to Godhead. That is the reason, as Sumati Mataji said, this is endless. No matter where I stand, where you stand. Maybe Sumati Mataji is 5 years in Krishna conscious. Subal Prabhu is 20 years in Krishna conscious. I am 21 years in Krishna conscious. But that does not end there. It is Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. So Bhajan Kriya means Tesham Satata Yukta Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmanam श्रद्धावान भजते योमा. श्रद्धा से और प्रीति से भगवान का भजन करना सतताम. So bhajan kriya means satatam. You have to do this. And also, once the people who think that now my bhajan kriya is completed, I will not follow it because I am initiated. From there, the platform collapses and the soul goes down from there. So, making this story short now, mental speculators definitely has no scope of understanding Krishna, because with our tiny brain we cannot understand. That is the reason Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yavedi tattvata. Like that day, I had a question from someone. Because Rama attacked Bali from backside and killed him, as a karma in the next Janma, Krishna was attacked by a Aborigine and Krishna died. So if this statement has to be discussed in this forum, what is your take, Prabhus and Mataji?
That's a nonsense statement.
Because I have even heard some senior Sampradaya members of other Sampradaya giving this quote. That is how. So how we as Vaishnavas are going to refute this statement in a step-by-step way?
Prabhu, there are 2 points. Similar question was raised in one of the other classes also. So there are 2 points which I know. First is in 4.15, Krishna says, Namam karmani limpanti name karma.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It means he says there is nothing as a karma that binds me. I'm not, meaning, eligible for any reaction.
Absolutely.
That is one. And so it highlights basically that Ram can never get reactions. The other point,
Absolutely.
Bali had received a boon from, if I'm not wrong, Mahadev, that whomever he fights with will get 50% of that other person's energy.
Yeah.
That means that Lord Ram, who has unlimited energy, if 50% of that unlimited energy goes into Bali, Bali will not have been able to sustain that quantity of energy. So it was in the interest of Bali that Ram did not hit him from front.
Yeah.
And in Srimad Bhagavatam, when the departure of Lord Krishna is explained, Shukadev Goswami uses a word swatanum. Okay, and swatanum meaning with his own body. So
Own body.
Shukadev Goswami says that the Lord went back to his kingdom along with his own body.
True.
And one last point, which is a kind of a logical point, is people like me, even if my whole feet, both the feet are cut off, are removed from my body, I will still not die. Now imagine when a warrior like Lord Krishna, who had killed thousands of demons, if somebody were to hit an arrow on his left foot, the tiniest of the finger, will he die? To say that he died with just that small arrow being shot on this tiniest finger of the left foot, it is a kind of an illogical statement also. Sorry.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the detail. Yeah. Any other input? That was a fantastic explanation. Great. Okay. To add up a few more things on that, Prabhu has almost done 80% of it. When Bali was hit by the arrow, Bali questioned Rama, on what basis have you done this? This was a fight between two brothers and you had no business to interfere. And if you were really such a great warrior, you could have come in front and hit me. What made you to take this stance of hiding and killing? So Rama said, for a Kshatriya, to kill an animal from any angle is acceptable. It is not necessary that I should come in front of you and kill you. Then only you will think that I'm a great, because you are an animal and I'm a Kshatriya. So it gives me the authority to kill you from any angle. Point number 2, he said, when you talk about fairness, you are having Indra's necklace in your neck, by which you get the 50% strength of Samnewala's energy. So are you fair enough? You and Ravana belong to the same clan of robbing somebody's wife and enjoying them. Your younger brother is like your son, and your younger brother's wife is his daughter. But you are such a corrupted mind person that you have kidnapped the wife, thrown the husband out. You could have thrown both of them out, but you did not do that. And you enjoyed her. So from that perspective, you are not fit to live. And this is the question when he replies that I am not an animal, मैं एक नर पशु हूं. क्या बोलते हैं अपने आप को? नर पशु. तो भगवान कहते हैं कि अगर आप नर हो तो उसके हिसाब से मनु संहिता का लॉ ये कहता है कि छोटा भाई और उसकी पत्नी आपके पुत्रवती समान है, और उसके साथ तुमने संभोग किया, तो डेफिनेटली यू हैव टू बी किल्ड. सो आइदर वे, इफ यू आर एन एनिमल, सो ही सेज, हु गिव यू द ऑथराइजेशन टू किल? सो ही सेज, राइट नाउ आर्यव्रत का जो पूरा राजा है वो रघुकुल के स्वामी भरत, he is the one, and I am his representative who is in a position to give you the punishment. So then Bali comes and falls at the feet of Rama and says, my dear Lord, your answer is very clear, and I know from this that you are Narayana himself. So when Bali says you are Narayana himself, so Bali can see the Narayan Swarup of the Lord over there. So one who sees the darshan of the Lord at the point of leaving the body is getting the moksha. So अगर ये बात सच है तो फिर बाली को दूसरा शरीर मिलने का कोई कारण ही नहीं था. And नमाम कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति is 200% right what Subal Prabhu said, because भगवान को कर्म फल का कोई reaction नहीं होता. He does it for the sake of doing. So in two ways over here, Rama, being the supreme Lord, showed his चतुर्भुज नारायण form to Bali before leaving the body, और उससे बाली का मोक्ष हो गया. So अगर मोक्ष हो गया तो दूसरा शरीर कहां से आया? So that itself is negated. And Krishna also says that janma karma chame divam evam yavati tatvata त्यक्त्वा देहम पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति स्वर्जुन, जो मेरे जन्म और कर्म को जान लिया है वो पुनर्जन्म नहीं लेगा। तो बाली ने जन्म और कर्म को जान के सरेंडर कर दिया राम को, और जो एक बार राम के शरण में चला गया उसको मुक्ति प्राप्त हो गया। सो दिस इटसेल्फ इज किल्ड। नाउ वी टेक दिस टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल। Say for the sake of discussion, Bali came as that hunter. So my question over here, logically, when Prabhu put one question, that was absolutely right. My second logic over here is that 18 days of Kurukshetra, Krishna was facing Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Vikarna, Duryodhan, the whole Kaurava team with so many kind of astra, Divya astra. And nothing happened to Krishna. Even when Bhishma Pitama hit the arrows, Krishna was bleeding. And then comes an aborigine with a small bow and arrow, टुच्चा सा लेके टिक बोल के पैर में मार दिया और वो मर गया. How do you justify that? First and foremost, there is no case that he comes because Namam Karma Nilipad. But even if somebody has to say that, so all the astra, Naga astra, Brahma astra, Pashupatastra, all these astras, Narayan astra, were used in the war at various point of time. Even when Krishna was fighting Banasur, so many astras were there. Nothing happened. And Krishna killed so many people. But one aborigine comes, takes a bow and arrow, which is not even divine. It must have been made out of some wooden piece in the jungle and hits. So this is a completely, absolutely wrong, as Prabhu said. It's a crap statement. It doesn't work over here. And that is the reason, if we are not surrendering, then this is how the atheistic mental speculation, adding some dozens of ifs and buts. Like the classical example, it says that Darwin theory teaches us that we have become from monkey to man. So when people tell me that, I said, yes, you should be proud of your heritage, that you have become monkey to man, but I was always a man to man. So please do not put your proposal to me. Because I need to understand one thing, at what point of time it was decided in the nature that to make a human being, monkey has to become man. Who took the count that, okay, this count is enough, now the production has to stop. And now if the production has to re-begin, why it is not happening? So we have to have some logical steps when we are doing these things. Any other doubts, questions before we go to 46?
Prabhu, one question. At the end of the Bhagavatam, is there anything, something about Krishna's departure?
Yeah. Krishna's departure is there. You can read it. It is there. And you can also read Harivamsha Puran, which is an in detail story about Krishna's pastimes after the war of Kurukshetra.
No, in relation to this sort of...
Yeah, it is there. It is there. It is very, like Prabhu said, no? Swatanu. The Lord took his body and went away. That was only an indication that his time has come to finish the Leelas on the face of the earth. How can, see, Prabhu, one thing, simple thing. Let's remove everything. If you are God, you cannot die. If you die, you are not God. So let's decide what it is. If I say Krishna is God, then God cannot die.
Yeah.
And if he dies, then he is not God. Then what about the statement, Para Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhava, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam, Vibhu. So we have to negate these atheistic philosophies in a very tactical way by reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and taking the inspiration from past acharyas. We can go to the next verse. Te vai vidante atitaranti cha deva mayam stri shudra huna shabra api papa jiva yadadbhuta karma paryana shila sakshas triyagna api kim tushruta dharanyaye.
Surrendered souls, even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women, the labor class, and the mountaineers, and the Siberians, or even the birds and beasts, can also know about the signs of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service. Sometimes there are inquiries as to how one can surrender unto the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.66, the Lord asks Arjun to surrender unto him, and therefore persons unwilling to do so question where God is and to whom they should surrender. The answer to this such questions or inquiries is given herein very properly. The personality of the Godhead may not be present before one's eye, but if one is sincere in wanting such guidance, the Lord will send a bona fide person who can guide one properly back home, back to the Godhead. There is no need of material qualifications for making progress on the path of the spiritual realization. In the material world, where one accepts some particular type of service, he is required to possess some particular type of qualification also. Without this, one is unfit for such service. But in the devotional service of the Lord, the only qualification required is surrender. Surrendering oneself is in one's own hand. If one likes, he can surrender immediately without delay, and that begins his spiritual life. The bona fide representative of the God is as good as God himself. Or, in other words, the loving representative of the Lord is more kind and more easy to approach. A sinful soul cannot approach the Lord directly, but such a sinful man can very easily approach a pure devotee of the Lord. And if one agrees to put himself under the guidance of such a devotee of the Lord, he can also understand the science of the God and can also become like the transcendental pure devotee of the Lord, and thus get the liberation back to the Godhead, back home to the for eternal happiness. So realization of the science of the Godhead is, and relief from the unnecessary, useless struggle for existence are not at all difficult for the willing candidate, but they are very difficult for persons who are not surrendered souls, but only simple profitless speculators. Hare Krishna.
That is a heavy statement in the end, by Srila Prabhupada. That is Srila Prabhupada for everybody. So I just asked a question 2 shlokas back, that how do you find yourself when you are guiding your dependents in Krishna consciousness? So here Prabhupada answers that question. He says, it is difficult for the persons who are not surrendered soul, but it is a relief. But if you are surrendered, then the Lord will accept you. Now, this particular purport is self-explanatory. There is nothing much we can add to it, because this itself tells us actually this is the purport. You should take a snapshot and keep it in your house and read it every day. Because this is the process Srila Prabhupada has given as to how one progresses in Krishna consciousness. So that is what it says, that surrender, Sharanagati, is very, very important. And surrendering oneself is in one's own hand. Many a times, people will be scornful. They will question you. Why you are taking Guru and all that for Margadarshan? Weak people go to Guru. People like me, I take my own decisions. I control my own life. I do everything on my own. So this is the quality of strong-heartedness. Whereas you are weak-hearted people, so you require a Guru. You go and do Sharan. You go and do menial service. When we asked this question to His Holiness Bhakti-Vikas Swami Maharaj, he said, yeah, the so-called materialistic people find that we are weak, but he just answered one statement. In one statement, he said, to give up your ego and to surrender unto somebody, you require a very big heart. And they are cowards. So that is the name, in the name of showing that they are their own decision makers, they never surrender, because they are afraid and they do not have the capacity to go and surrender, because their ego does not allow them. And they are having poor fund of knowledge. That is the reason it says, realization, science of Godhead, and relief from unnecessary useless struggle for existence is not at all difficult for willing candidate. And what is the willing candidate doing? He is surrendering to Krishna by surrendering to his devotee. Like, for example, the state is owned by Sheikh Mohammed and I am a thief. So I will not say that if you allow me to go to surrender to Sheikh Mohammed, then only I will surrender. Sheikh Mohammed's system is the police department, the punitive system is there. I go and say, my dear sir, I am ready to give myself. Please accept me and let me rehabilitate myself. So that is as good as surrendering to Sheikh Muhammad only, because you are surrendering to the dictum of Sheikh. And what is the dictum of Krishna? Tadvidhi pranipatena, pariprashnena sevaya, upadekshanti te jnanam, jnaninas tattvadarshina. So once you, in other words, the loving representative of the Lord is more kind and more easy to approach. That's right. That's right. Because he will shelter you. So one who is, without this, one is unfit for the service, but in devotional service of the Lord, only qualification required is surrender. And this surrender in itself takes long time, Prabhu, because it's not easy to kill your ego and go and just place yourself in front of the Lord and say, here I am. But those who do it, they definitely know the benefits of it. So today we conclude the class over here, and I'm open for question answers or any additional inputs from the team members. Thank you very much for patiently listening to this. And thank you, Subal, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Despite having a busy schedule in the morning, you took some time out for us and enlightened us. Thank you so much.
No, Prabhuji, this is Bhagavatam is our life and soul, Prabhu. If we could speak a little bit on that, that's it. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam.
Jai. Yeah. Anyone, any question?
Prabhuji, please, may I ask?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Prabhuji, my intelligence is very less. But what I have heard is that the one who killed, the one who shot arrow at the Lord, Jara,
Yeah.
it seems, I don't know from where I have heard about it, that the arrowhead was of that mushal part, those grasses that grew
That is
of
true.
steel.
That is true.
So, Prabhuji, from that point of view, was it only the Leela of Sri Krishna, or this is only the speculations?
No, I'll tell you one thing. When Krishna accepted the curse of what's that?
Gandhari.
Gandhari, yes. Thank you, Prabhu. When Krishna accepted the curse of Gandhari, he said, Tathastu. So the Yaduvanshis has to be killed, because Yaduvanshis were very difficult. Abhi photocopy Yadavs hai India mein, unko hi hum log handle nahi kar sakte. So the real Yaduvanshis were very difficult. If you read the Harivamsha Puran, you will come to know that they were very, very, very ferocious and difficult to handle also, though they were Krishna's Sambandhis. So Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. He took the opportunity of inspiring Gandhari to give the curse so that the Yaduvanshis are finished. So to keep her word, he accepted one mushal in his leg also. Now keeping the word and accepting is one thing, and getting killed by it is another part of it. So we have to understand that Jara got that one last piece which could not be ground. Rest everything was ground, and it became as the Ramban on the banks of river Gomati, and everybody started to fight and kill each other because it became a sledgehammer. But this is, Sri Mataji, I'll tell you, Krishna in many places, like Lord Ramachandra, for example, he told Bali one thing: even if I would have come in front of you and with you taking away my 50% of the power, I could have still killed you because I am the Supreme Lord. But had I done that, the personality who gave you the boon would have lost his Shakti of giving the boon to others, and people would have, like, told that, "Arey, ye aadmi jhoota hai, iska bola hua jhoot hai." So, to just keep the word of the devotee and to keep the word of the people who have given the Ashirwad, Lord Ramachandra accepted, "Theek hai, main darpok hi sahi," but he did not go ahead and kill Bali from the front. Same is with Krishna over here. Same is with Krishna. It's just that he just accepted the curse of Gandhari, and the Gandhari's curse will be fulfilled when the Musal came and touched his feet. That's it. Touching and finishing. And that is the end of his Leela, and he was going back to Godhead. But he dying, that is a different part. He never died, because that Swatanum Shloka tells, उनका रथ आया, वो दिव्य रथ पर बैठे और वैकुंठ धाम की तरफ प्रस्थान कर लिया. We have to understand from the Acharya's perspective.
Yes, okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, one more thing, can I ask, please?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I just heard you saying about Keshav Prabhuji and all other children. Okay. And I was so happy because often I keep, once in a month, I talk to Keshav. And I was really very happy to hear about his initiations and everything. Prabhuji, what to do if someone has already lost this train? I mean, we entered into, for example, me, I have entered into this Krishna conscious path past only 3 years. I have a son who is 27. Very difficult to bring him to this process. I mean, I don't know, very difficult to make them understand what I'm feeling. And Prabhuji, how do I get initiated in such circumstances? Because very difficult for my family to be initiated. They are very difficult for my family to accept Krishna consciousness. This is what I'm feeling at the moment.
At least I want to ask you one thing. You manage the kitchen?
Yes, Prabhuji, I do.
Do you take onion garlic?
No, Prabhuji. Past 3 years, I have left
What about
onion,
your
garlic,
family?
tea, coffee.
What about your family members?
My family members in house, we don't bring onion and garlic,
Fantastic.
but outside they eat.
So it means you are already having a super platform where you can launch your Krishna consciousness. Every food that you make, offer it and feed it to them. Whatever you make in the house without onion garlic, एक तुलसी पत्ता डालो, भगवान को भोग लगाओ और उनको प्रसाद खिलाओ, and infect them with Krishna's virus through the stomach.
Okay.
Believe me, you will, Mataji, I'll just tell you as an inspiration story. The place where I used to stay in the last building was called Star 3 Apartments. And we had some Gujarati and Maharashtrian families over there. So every Friday, what I would do, I would just take the prasad and hang it on their door. And they used to get very upset with me, very angry with me, very angry. They used to say, Prabhu, why you are doing this? Sir, aap you kya kar rahe? Hum log ko nahi chahiye. I said, listen, sometimes when I used to ring the bell, they used to not open the door, knowing that ye pagal aake phir khada hai idhar bol ke. And sometimes when they'll open the door, they will just, kya hai? प्रसाद नहीं चाहिए. सर देखो अभी आप 2 बजे तक सोए हुए थे, अभी उठोगे, वाइफ को किचन में भेजोगे, why you want to get into this? Take it and have it. After 6 months, when we met once down in the building, they said, I said, would you like to join us for the Bhagavad Gita class? They said, yes, okay. And out of them now, 2 families are initiated. 1 family is sheltered, and 1 is in the process of Prabhupada Ashraya over a period of 10 years' time. So nothing comes easy and quick, Mataji. But end of the day, if you can work it out this way, nothing like it. So prepare the bhoga, offer it to Krishna, and tell Krishna, my dear Lord, may they be attached to you. Because prasadam is the way Prabhupada made disciples all across the world, just by the ISKCON bullet called Gulab Jamun. So you have it in your hand, because the prasad will 100% change the mind, Mataji. Nothing to worry about. I think Mataji left.
Yeah, I think Mataji has left, but she just left a few moments back.
Yeah. So this.
Prabhu, can we have a darshan of Keshav?
Oh yes, I'll call him just a minute.
Mataji,
I'm sorry, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And I will share that video link with you if you all have time.
Prabhuji.
It is a 50 minutes video, so I will not force you to see that. But if you really want to know what we did to the child, it's a step-by-step question answers between Guru Maharaj. And we were very overwhelmed with this interview. So this is something Guru Maharaj said, that let everybody also know that how we can upbring a child in Krishna consciousness. So that has been helpful. And Subal, your news of your daughter wanting to get initiated is our bhagya. Absolute brilliance.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, do you think that there is any chance of people like me getting initiated maybe after even 10 years?
Why not? If you follow the process, you will be able to. With the process, we can help you. There are so many members over here. I'm coming to Mumbai this time. I'll come and see you in Mumbai.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm aware of it. Keshav told me that you all are coming to Mumbai, then going to Bharuch. and you will be in Jew temple also. So that time I was planning to come and meet you.
Yeah, my son, he is my secretary, so he puts everything ahead for this. Just a minute, I'll call him. Lord Keshav? Sit here for a minute.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Keshav
Oh,
Prabhuji.
Nihal Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. How are
This is
you?
my rascal.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Keshav.
Hare Krishna, Subal Prabhuji.
Okay, then go.
Hare Krishna, Keshav Prabhuji.
So he assists me in puja and everything. Morning he will come, he will chant all the verses. तो मैं क्रिया करता हूँ, वो मंत्र पढ़ता है. तो बाप बेटे की जुगलबंदी ऐसे चलती है.
Wow.
So people were telling me that why don't you train him? I said I have trained him to be a brahmana. Society में doctors, engineers, lawyers चाहिए तो ब्राह्मण भी चाहिए ना. So somebody has to do that job also. So we both are doing that, and it is pretty nice. सुबह सुबह जाके पुरुष सूक्त गाते हैं हम लोग ये करते हैं. So it's nice. Overall, I would only say that Vaishnava's mercies never go waste, Prabhu and Mataji. Never think that you will never be initiated. If you have a desire to speak to the Lord, put it to Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas that I want to get initiated. Rasta khulega.
Yeah, that is what I do every day.
We all are in a similar situation. Even myself and Subal, what lifestyle we had initially, what we are doing now, it's all Krishna's plan. Only thing is that you should be ready to surrender.
Yes.
But
Prabhuji, one positive thing that happened few days ago. My husband, he eats non-veg. He used to eat non-veg. Although we were Vaishnava and I have Thakurji Seva in my house. But my husband, he never accepted anything. And then last when he had come for 15 days, he lives in Africa, by the way.
okay.
And when last he had come for 10 days, I was not well. And so he had to do the seva in the
temple.
mandir. Yeah, so he did not do Thakurji seva, but he did all the other Vigraha seva. Okay. And then the day when he was going back to Africa, what he suddenly came and said, "Okay, from today my non-veg is banned. I'm not going to eat non-veg forever." I was like, "Pakka?" I was like, "Yes, yes. From today I'm not going to eat non-veg forever and ever." And I was so happy. Yeah. I was really very, very happy. I mean, this is what I used to tell Vishnu every day. I used to tell Narayan, Bhagwan, please, at least non-veg. Baki sab chalega, but you see, he does not drink. He smokes often.
Now
but,
you do one thing.
I used to always pray, please, Bhagwan, please, no non-veg at least, no non-veg. I used to feel guilty about it.
Pray one more thing now. Now you tell, please, accept him in your service.
Yeah, this is what I have started already, Prabhuji. Because, भगवान एक चीज देते हैं ना तो हम थोड़ा लालची हो जाते हैं.
नहीं, अच्छे चीजों में लालची होना चाहिए. लौल्यम जिसको हम बोलते हैं, greed for good is always good, dear. I would request everybody.
Yeah, and Prabhuji, please, when you are in Mumbai, please make a point to come to my house. And if not, I'll come to meet you. And when you are in Bharuch, I'll come often to meet you. Please put me into the services of God.
Sure. Where are you staying in Mumbai?
Sir, I'm in Kandivali, Lokhandwala.
आ जाऊंगा, Kandivali पहुंच जाऊंगा, no problem.
Yes,
आने
Prabhuji.
वाला हूं anyway, so we'll come.
Yes, Prabhuji, please. I would be sincerely waiting for your entire family.
Thank you for all that love and affection this group has. It's
Thank
always
you,
a pleasure
Prabhuji.
to be on Forum, Subal. Thank you for
so
your
much, Prabhu.
continuous initiative, Prabhu.
I'm really very happy to
Thank you,
be on
Prabhuji.
this platform. I see to it that I never miss any class. Sometimes ho jata hai, but then I really love all the speakers here are so wonderful, superb. I mean, the knowledge, I cannot imagine I'm getting it here.
This forum has been made by Subal Prabhu exclusively to
Yes.
ensure that people get the Bhagavad knowledge. So we should
Yes,
all
thank you so much.
we should give one Hare Krishna chant for Subal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Radhapada Pankaj Prabhu. Wonderful association with you.
Subal, just to keep you informed, I am in India till 30th of September,
Okay.
leaving on the Nandotsav day to Bangalore to
Okay.
attend the marriage of Sri Vallabh's son. Then from there, I'll be in Bharuch. Then I'll be going to Vrindavan for a day and then come back to Mumbai. So
Okay.
if there is any class, do let me know.
Okay.
I'll work it out and be available for that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you
Should
so
you
much.
feel that I should be of anything, let me know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for
Thank you.
joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Hare
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.